Yeah. We back in the building. We back in the building.
As always,
Happy
we here.
Saturday, people. Happy Saturday, people.
Yeah, all that and all that. We in the building. Another Heyward CPA Live. It's going
Abs-
down.
Absolutely.
You see?
Absolutely. What you doing on this Saturday? Look like you have on the boat shirt with the
Yeah,
hat back.
yeah, 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 yeah,
You going on the mini yacht today?
yeah. Absolutely not. But what I am doing is I'm at a retreat with my church, and I'm gonna give some of the nature in a second. I'm gonna get out the car. I was just trying to get a little charge here, but all day retreat with my church, and it's heavy already. I needed a break. We on a 10-minute break, so I wanted to come in and say what's up. Get the show. Get the show started. I mean, it's in capable hands. You don't need me anyway, but I just, it's like, since I could pop in. And plus, I always wanted to see what it looks like coming from the guest side,
From the other
like
side.
quality control. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But out here in nature, son, like for real.
Oh yeah. Look at that
Let me
volume.
give y'all a little, what I'm
That
saying?
volume. That
Like we
volume.
out here in nature. Like you see behind me, man, it's nature back there. Like nature. You know what I'm saying? Like nature. It's all out here. So we doing something, but it's real good. It's just right now we about to get on a section of doing a spiritual autobiography.
Oh wow.
Heavy.
Oh wow.
We doing the heaviness and all that. So that's what's going on, my friend. Yeah, I gotta see what's up with my audio. But nah, we good. You still got me though?
Yeah, I still got you. Can you hear me
Oh,
all right?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So
Before you jump off though, right?
mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna send you something. I'm gonna give you a sneak preview because I want to see your face. You know what I mean? You ain't really gotta say too much, but I'm sending you a sneak preview on your phone real quick.
Okay.
It should be there any second.
Any second.
Any
True.
second.
Okay. No doubt. That's being discussed today. That's being that's being
Nah.
is green light go on that?
It's green lighted, but we're gonna green light it like Monday. We're gonna green light it though.
Okay.
I'm gonna but we're gonna green light it Monday. I'm just gonna say something real, ceremonial, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. He got a treat for y'all. I mean, that's big news. It's big news. That's a big thing coming from this, I think. Because, those that know, I'm always on the introspection tip. So this is kind of like in my lane. But one thing I am learning and appreciating is when you do something and you announce it, embrace it, celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? Like with too many times, we let stuff go by, blase. Like, oh, yeah, I did a thing, whatever. Well, at least myself and you. But
before you jump off, though, I got one more for you. One more thing for you.
Yo, man.
It's just one more thing for you.
That's one more? Oh, you got the homie on there. Okay.
What up?
What up, man? So, yo, I'm saying it's definitely in good hands. I'm good. I'm good. I'll check the replay later on. See what y'all get into, man. Yo, we gotta get together in the flesh. Break the bread.
Yes, indeed.
Next week,
I gotta
if
get
possible.
like you. I gotta get like
man,
you and get out there.
I'm sure you probably been out here before. The Via Center on Mason Road.
I need to be out there right now with you.
Yo, it's our level. You see in the back, like
nice.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Nice. He's stuck. He on stuck mode now. Yeah.
Oh, that being said, yo.
All right, brother. Peace out. All right, peace. You breaking up. You getting stuck.
Oh yeah.
Brother CJ, good morning.
Good morning. What's the word?
Oh man, Saturday. It's July 12th. July is already moving fast. We on live.
Rolling.
We on live with with the world right now, for those that are tapping in versus those that will tap in, right? So everyone, let me
Absolutely.
formally introduce you to my brother, a friend, partner, another partner. All of the good connotations. CJ Broderick. He's the president and CEO of the Greater Durham Black Chamber of Commerce, where I'm also a board member as well. So welcome to the show, man. Thank you for jumping
Good
on.
morning. Good morning. Absolutely. Anytime.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna have some more of these because I'm gonna make an announcement at the end. So they're gonna hold us to it. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
As you guys saw, James is out in the world. He's at a church retreat. So he's going out there, receive his blessings and give some blessings and bring some blessings back this way,
Nice.
So today, what I want to do is I want to do a slight recap. So CJ, what we do is we talk about some books, and we talk about how those books relate to the business world, whether from a business perspective, all things business, so tax and operations and sales and things of that nature, right? So feel free to hop in with any questions. But if everybody remember the last two episodes that we covered seeing around corners, right? And the other episode was what got you here won't get you there, right? And so today we're going to be talking about who moved my cheese. I know you like that book, CJ.
Yeah.
Right? So the core theme of seeing around the corners is being able to spot inflection points or moments in your business, right? So you don't get too disrupted or distorted far away from the goals, right? And it helps you develop your foresight and the ability to adapt and adjust as needed. What got you here won't get you there. It's more like habits, right? So what you're good at, whatever skill that you have that you're good at that got you to a certain place won't get you further. So you have to adapt and adjust. And a lot of the times in business, it comes from the leadership aspect, right? So being able to delegate to folks, trusting and allowing them to fulfill the job while you continuously lead the vision and you shape the opportunities in the market, the business, the culture, so on and so forth, right? So that encourages more self-awareness, self-accountability, and allows your habits to change and evolve, right? Which is another book we'll talk about, Atomic Habits, down the road, for future episodes. And so now, who move your cheese? This is really about coping and thriving through change, during change, right? So it's a short parable. It's a real short parable. It's a real short book. I'll encourage everyone to grab that book. It's a short read, but it's an impactful and it's a strong read, right? And it helps you to deal with your fear of letting go and understanding that what was done in the past won't get you to where you need to be in the future. So how do you let it go, right? And that gives you actionable steps. That book gives you more visual, actual steps that you can take. So CJ, you got any thoughts on that before I kind of dive into the summary or the plot of it?
Let's jump. Go ahead, dive.
All
I
right,
love the book.
Cool. So who moved my cheese? So it's about two humans and two mice, right? So basically, mice, and it's a crazy comparison if you think about it, because mice are always used and tested in today's market, right? That's how they test medicines and viruses and things of that nature. And for those of us that don't really, hold on, I want to put the book up on the screen real quick. See, bear with me. Okay, got the book up on the screen for those that need the visuals, right? So the rats, they use two rats and two small humans the same size as the rats, right? And so they're in a maze to figure out where their cheese is. So the rats and the humans are in the same place with the same cheese in one place. Now the humans go there and they inspect the cheese. The rats go there and eat the cheese, right? And then the humans go there and eat the cheese, inspect the cheese. And then all of a sudden, the rats wake up one day, cheese is gone or starting to diminish. So instead of them waiting until the cheese is fully and completely gone, they start looking for new places of cheese and they find that place way down wherever in the maze. So the two humans now are kind of stuck. They're feeling fearful. Where's our cheese going? Is it getting bad? The inventory is getting low, so on and so forth. So Ham, I think it's one of them, the name is Ham, right? And the other one is Haw, something like that, right? Those are the humans. And Ham and Haw are trying to figure out where the next cheese is. So Ham is the one that gets, I think Ham is the one that gets stuck and doesn't move. So Haw keeps on moving. He has to leave Ham behind so he doesn't stay complacent so he can find new cheese, right? So that's the epitome or the totality of the story is don't get stuck in past situations and opportunities that have come and gone. Go and find new opportunities. Get out of your fear. What you think that you're going to be or experience is actually the truth if you stay stuck, right? But it's also the truth if you're able to move forward too and have different belief systems, right? CJ, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love the book. I don't remember all the details and all the characters as well as you do, but I listened to it probably less than a year ago. I listened to it again after having
Right.
read it some years back, and yeah, I thought the simplicity of it and now the analysis of it was also so spot on that your approach to situations to changes, right, is can be a key factor in how you either adapt and win, or kind of wait for situations to change on their own, or kind of be stuck in your ways and double down on and so yeah, I agree that that the book is instrumental in trying to think about having a growth mindset all the time. You know what I mean? Being able to be relentlessly pursuing what you're pursuing, but also being able to look for changes and respond to them, and anticipate them even, in your journey. So yeah, I appreciated it.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things you just said was how to respond, and so that's kind of the strategic aspect of the book, right? It teaches you how to respond to change. The other book, "What Got You Here Won't Keep You There," shows you that you may need to change, right? And then "Seeing Around Corners," which is a really good book, that tells you change is coming. So with those three books, you're able to compile as a trio. You're able to compile what life has to offer and what life is telling you it is not anything other than what our limited beliefs, are, right?
Right. Yeah.
Change happens in this book. It's a part of life. The cheese moved, right? And you got to go find the cheese. Being able to anticipate change, right? So we're that's like forecasting, and that's like having some foresight and being in the position as business owners to do that, right? So how do we do that? We do that with business plans. We do that with forecasting and projection models. We do that with having SOPs. We do that with organizational charts. We do that when we're having team or staff meetings and going through to-dos and deliverables, right? So we can be able to adapt quickly to whatever change needs to happen, right? And then also during those, I guess, change for a lot of people, CJ, is it's kind of a daunting task for a lot of people, especially if they're not having fun, right? Because I think one of the words we talk about is freedom, right? And
Yeah.
and it's the freedom to be able to um, take on challenges, right? And as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner, it's the freedom of doing that. And so you got to be able to enjoy what you're doing, so you can enjoy um, the fruits of it. You know, um,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean, and embracing the fact that change and fear happens. It's gonna happen. It's not that it's not gonna happen, but what is your perspective of it? Some people just freeze up. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I noticed, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but one of the things I noticed in the marketplace a lot more now, based off of you know the atmosphere, the climate, if you will, is high levels of anxiety. Right?
Hmm.
We already have anxiety, but real high levels of anxiety is um, is really in place right now for a lot of people. It's there's uncertainty. I call it FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt in the industry, in the world. Right? Um, Life is lifing. you
Hmm.
know, life is lifing, and so how do you life? How do you become a lifer? Embrace it, because you're not going to always enjoy it. Embrace it and still develop yourself and your business along the way, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of open question, CJ. What are your thoughts for the people?
Yeah, I think it's important. One of the ways I try to embrace change and the inevitability of change is to relentlessly prepare for it, anticipate it, and to kind of get ahead of change, right? And I think that's helpful in some ways, and I think in some ways you'll never be fully prepared for it. But I think in some ways the things that you can control, you want to control. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that you are, doing your part um, to be ready for the changes that may happen, right? And some of that is personal work and and again um, building up your resilience to stress, building up your ability to kind of go with the flow and be okay and to work through difficult things, being able to sit still for a bit, being sometimes it's about, taking care of yourself, meditating, all those things, all the things that you only know that your body needs and your mind needs to be its best, right? Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, I think there's I was telling someone yesterday, I'm someone that deeply respects failure, right? And because I respect failure so much, and I know it can give so much in terms of lessons and and uh, and ideas and real life experiences to how to not do things and so then how to do things. As much as I respect failure, I prepare so much to avoid it. You know what I mean? I don't hide from failure. I don't mind failing, but I respect it so much that my preparation for the things that I get into, I like to make sure that I avoid it. So where I can. So those are some quick thoughts.
man, respecting failure, that's pretty deep, right? Like, because they say, I think a loose term is um, the more you fail, the more you succeed, the higher the risk, the higher the reward. But you only really get that when you become an adult. When you're young, you don't get, that's not what's being told to you, which is, that's a whole nother rabbit hole of conversation. It creates some falsities there. But the fact that you obviously have, you've been an entrepreneur for what, 20 plus years, right?
Yeah.
So your experience in failing, at what point did you just wake up and say, you know what? I accept you failure. Jump in the front seat with me. I'm driving though. We're going for this long ride. At what point um, you know, did you realize that?
Yeah, I think as an entrepreneur, I've had some failures, right? I think they all hurt, right? Some big ones, the big ones hurt, the little ones hurt. As an entrepreneur, sometimes the ones that hurt the most is when you not just let yourself down, but there are other people that you feel like, man, I let them down. They were depending on me, and this didn't happen, right? And so sometimes those can feel like a gut punch, right? And it's almost like you get down to a knee, you're like, oh, like clenching your gut, like,
Mhm.
man, I just got hit, and sometimes you want to just lay there for a second. But I think that act of getting up off the canvas, if you will, or getting up out the bed, if you will, the resilience it builds every time you get up, hopefully stronger than the last time, right? And again, if you're introspective and you respect what's happened, and you put in, what you thought was good work to avoid failure, you hopefully, and I think in my case, certainly, learn some lessons, right? And you say to yourself, and that exhale, it's like, I think I got it now, right? And to some extent, initially you're it's tough, right? But I think to some extent, for me, I've always found gratitude, in that, you know, the fall wasn't pretty, wasn't
Mhm.
um, but I found gratitude in that, what? The fall could have been worse. And the failure was not fatal. And so let me celebrate the lessons I've learned. Let me perfect the things I need to perfect, work on the things I need to work on. Let me share with others the things I learned, because maybe that lesson wasn't just for me, you know what I mean? Maybe there's a way to share with other folks as well. So that process has been really, really helpful. I'm now grateful for failures. Sometimes I tend to do things that I know, some failure might be in it, because again, the lessons I think from failure are so much more important at times than lessons from success. Um, and so um, yeah, I'm someone that can appreciate, a little bit of failure in everything I do now, that I
Yeah.
couldn't before,
Right.
a while ago.
Right. No, well, you're right, man. I appreciate you saying that because, one of the things that you do become used to, working in the business, on the business, is the fact that what we think failure is going to do to us is actually not that intense. We'll feel it, we'll go, like you said, we'll go through spouts of shame and disappointment for ourselves and for others if it's that serious, right? But for the most part, it's not. No one dies from it, right? Hopefully. No, there's no loss of limbs, right? You're like, wait a minute, I could get back up and I still standing on my twos. I got my arms, I got my mobility, my adaptability, right? It's almost a
Yeah,
weight lifted in a sense. So,
yeah,
and I think entrepreneurship and being a business owner um, puts you there so you can embrace it because you remove what's consistent, which is a paycheck. What removes
yeah,
what consistent is resources, because when you work at a job, right, or a company, you have resources that are there. You become a cog in the wheel. You're a part of the process. You're a part of the resources that's involved, right? So
yeah,
when you come out of that and you go into your own, you have to, whether you have resources or not, you still have to develop and maintain those resources in order to get things done, right? You have to
yeah,
evaluate, you got to delegate, you got to follow up, you got to make sure everyone's not going to understand the vision, but at least if you could keep them on the mission, then when the vision hits them, you'll get it, right? And that's all a part of that fear factor and that failure factor, right? The other piece too is when you're trying to put out ideas, product, service, take initiatives, and you're not really sure how it's going to come out. A lot of times, getting the failed, what seems to be failure in terms of data, now you could re-engineer that and use that data to change course, or to draw in the information that you wouldn't have got if you didn't go that route, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like marketing, A/B testing, right? So
Yeah.
you A/B test to see what works, what's not working, and so those failure rates gives you good information, good data, good insights, so you can move forward. You know what I mean? Um, yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's I again, it's just all embracing. Nothing goes away. You just become better at dealing with it. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
so I'm gonna offer some insights. You know that we got here, and some strategies. So insight is, especially that the book provides, is comfort is a trap, right? It's a trap disguised as success. Some people get, we have companies. I work with companies and business owners that have some real instant wins. They start a business 2-3 years down the road, maybe less than that. They're generating revenue, a lot of revenue, and they get comfortable. Now, what happens operationally? But let's talk about that a little bit more before I go into any more insights, right? See, I think what we trying to do here, and I'm gonna let you. You're gonna get. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. He's gonna have a wheel in a moment, and he's just gonna unfold and let you know what we have going on, what he has going on, and what he has planned for the community, and so on and so forth. So we'll get you speaking on that in a moment. But in terms of the community that we serve, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of us focus on obviously generate revenue so we can take care of our lifestyle and our families, right? But when it comes to the operational aspect, I know I think, I have a good feeling on it, but what is the this disparity? What are the challenges that it seems that people face when it comes to the operational aspect of running the business?
Yeah. And then you and I talked about this sometime before, but then there's several different um, challenges in operating a venture depending on the scope and size of it and that kind of thing. But I think one of the things we talk about um, that's a function of one a couple other books, mainly the E Myth, is just how to really distinguish the work in your company, right? How to evolve from being a technician or a tactician, the person that's doing all the work in your company, to being able to, you mentioned delegating earlier, but to even have some things that that you're not managing, that you can delegate to someone else to manage the way the work is done, the way the product or service is being executed, and then eventually also making sure you spend some time on the strategy work as well. And I don't think a lot of early entrepreneurs, uh, recognize the necessity in being the strategist, the manager and the technician, and the strategy piece tends to fall by the wayside. Um, and which is arguably the most important piece, at all parts at all stages of the business. And I think that that's a huge issue. So a lot of we've done a couple of different webinars together, and I think we've shared some data also on a lot of successful companies, as far as revenue generation, become successful as a function of having their first employee, or their first person other than the founder owner actually executing some function of the work, right,
Mhm.
at a decent level. And I think that one of the huge aha moments for entrepreneurs is that you know is to challenge themselves and their ventures, their companies, to see if and how it can get to that level of having someone else do something significant, for the venture, right? And that's a challenging task, and I think operationally, and I think it's a good challenge and a good task to consider for a venture. So, um, there are there's certainly 20 different ways I could talk about that question, but that's the one that popped up for me as a huge operational point of consideration.
That's on. That's a good point because those are some of the challenges that we run into. Actually, I think it is the challenges that we run into, and the underlying of it is being able to think through the process, having a strategic mind. Because I think most people most people are strategic. They just don't know what it means. They don't know how to place it, right? Because, and I say most people that are capable, a good amount of us, because think about it. When we're in a crisis situation, when we have to do something, we get very strategic, whether we think about it or not. We reach out, we find resources, we find people. We always There's a way for us to get something done in a crisis situation. I think as young adults to full blown adults, we've all experienced multiple scenarios where something needed to get done last minute and strategy came into place. So looking at it from that perspective, and then being able to apply the foresight on how to strategize, right?
Absolutely,
That plan
absolutely,
together, and then being able to execute and staying consistent. You know, um,
absolutely.
one of the words that's out there from like a lot of the social media stuff, gurus and things. They say discipline, right? Got to have discipline. Now, I recently read an article where this guy kind of flipped it a little bit. So discipline seemed like work. It is work, but it seems like work. It is work, right? But to the mind, we don't want our. The problem is, I think we don't want our mind to think it's work because then our mind and body don't really follow. In it, essentially, right? So holistically, his way of looking at it was a devotion. If you're devoted to your task, if you're devoted to your vision and your mission, it becomes a little bit different. It's almost like a father being devoted to their children, or
Yeah,
devoted to their family. Because the family's not being. I don't wake up every day to make sure my family good as a discipline. I'm devoted to them, right? And so that devotion is love, right? That
yeah,
devotion
yeah,
is appreciation and gratitude. That devotion is whatever happens today, it doesn't matter. If we end up in an emergency room, we're gonna get through it because we devoted to get through it, right? So, it's a play on words, but mentally and emotionally, I think if we begin to strategically look at how we believe the things we tell ourselves, we can adapt and adjust to those scenarios. What's your thoughts on that?
yeah. I agree. I was thinking about the last question too, around and weaving it into what you're just talking about, devotion and discipline and operations. And I think one of the things that I think is maybe sort of a secret in business, that I think is helpful to consider is that, for me, the main task of the founder, the CEO, if you will, the leadership team, um, but most importantly, the CEO, the founder, the main task is clarity, right? And it takes a lot of devotion, a lot of intentionality around clearly defining, what's going to happen today, what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen a week from now, a year from now. If this situation happens, this is the playbook. If that situation happens, this is the playbook, right? And I think that one of the huge opportunities for founders and CEOs is to devote themselves to producing clarity, right? This is exactly what this venture is. This is exactly what this venture does. This is how this venture responds. This is how this venture, lives. This is how this venture does everything so that any employee, any partner, um, any colleague, any customer has also the clarity that you've now taken the time as a founder, CEO, leader to outline, and I think that that's one of the huge opportunities in doing both strategic work, managerial work, and technical work is taking time out of, hey, we're here today and I'm doing this thing today, to make this sale or to make this thing, but to take a step back and to define, okay, this is what today looks like. This is what tomorrow looks like. This is what needs to happen this month. This is exactly how we're going to get there, and producing that clarity takes a lot of, again, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of devotion, a lot of discipline, and it is indeed work, but it's important work because it helps everything else, um, you know, find its way, and find the right way, if you will, if that's done consistently. So those are some thoughts to share.
Nice. Okay, we're gonna circle back to that master class that we're gonna start doing on CEO clarity. That's what we're gonna call it, right? So we're going to talk about that, and we can get some dates on the books for that one.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to go through some more of the strategy and tactics. So, for business owners, regularly evaluate your systems, your habits, and your assumptions, right? So, we always talk about here on Heyward CPA Live, advisory, tax planning, and such, and business operations, and having certain systems in place. So, evaluate what those systems are, right? Make sure you're scheduling, your monthly and your quarterly check-ins with yourself, with your team, with any professional services that are needed to help your business move forward, right? Um, Always remember insight number 2. Remember, fear is normal, but it's not a reason to get stuck, right? So, as CJ say, embrace it, appreciate it, understand it, right? Because it could put you in new directions, you know. And then tactically say, all right, how am I going to get past this? What do I need to put in place? What do I need to do to get past it? Right. So new ideas. Maybe you have to shift from a particular component or a particular action that you were doing that wasn't working. So you switch that, right? And then your current skills, right? They may be outdated. Your models may be outdated. That's why the importance of looking at business plans and making sure you keep up with what's happening in the world and what your business plan parallels to it, right? We get reviews, ask for professional and personal insight on your models, your plans, and see where the gaps are, right? And then just create a plan to improve it, you know. So with that being said, I gave you guys some insights, some strategies, and some tactics. Again, that book is Who Moved My Cheese. Go ahead and check it out. Reference it. If you guys don't have time to read the book in full, get the audio book. Go through the audio book. These books that we're sharing, and CJ, we've been sharing lists and lists and lists of books, and going through it. We've been a little more expansive and kind of aligning the books with business, how it affects business on a professional and personal level, to try to lock in and align with how people feel, right? What are they feeling? Because it's the day to day. It's the day to day. And I think we don't want to overshadow that. It's the day to day emotions. It's the day to day things that we go through that could hold us back, and we got to be able to move through. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but it'll be worth it, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's why we do these shows. That's why we do these talks, and we talk about these specific areas of functionality and provide different resources and different voices, right? So, with that being said, I'm going to allow CJ to again introduce himself, his organization, and what's up and coming, why you should be a part of the organization, what the organization is all about, the vision and the mission, and and you'll get a chance to hear, if you're paying attention, you get a chance to hear what I know and what I see and where I align with him in terms of his devotion to the vision and mission, not only for himself but for others, and he does it through the vehicle, which is the Chamber of Commerce. So go ahead, CJ, ball's yours.
Yeah, Sure thing. Yeah, so I have the pleasure of serving as the president and CEO of the Greater Durham Black Chamber of Commerce. Again, slowly Greater Durham Black Chamber of Commerce. We call it sometimes for short the GDBCC. But our mission is very simple. We support the growth and development of Black entrepreneurs, Black businesses, and the Black business ecosystem. So three different layers, right? So Black entrepreneurs, this could be an aspiring entrepreneur, it could be a current entrepreneur, but there's so many different things that entrepreneurs need to be supported with that are related to growth and development, training, learning, thought partnerships. So we support entrepreneurs, um, and it's been a pleasure and a journey in to do this for so many years. Tons of folks we've been able to walk alongside, support through, again, either starting their company, growing their company, but on the second level, there is the business, right? And we were just talking about some business skill sets, whether it's an LLC, an S corporation, a C corporation. There are so many things that a business, which is like a whole new child that you give birth to, needs to grow and develop. And we help folks with those kind of things. Sometimes it's referring them to professionals like Kory and Jim with Heyward CPA, right? Sometimes referring them to other law professionals, but a lot of times it's supporting them with understanding, how to build their business. What are the questions they have in the middle of the night? Who can they reach out to and say, hey, I need some support? We help them with that. And then the third layer is what we call the Black business ecosystem, right? How do we create communities, regions, areas, cities, towns, municipalities that are supportive of Black businesses thriving, right? What are the key components in economic development, workforce development, community development that we need to consider in partnering with governments and regions and states and sometimes federally for that work. So that's who we are, and a little bit about our mission and our work. Our vision is simply, economic prosperity for Black folks, economic freedom for Black folks, economic justice for Black folks. We want to make sure that people that are of African descent, have the opportunity to be free to do what they need to do economically, during segregation, where Black folks, um, you know, shopped in Black communities and were predominantly together in segregated communities. There are ways in which our businesses supported a certain kind of freedom, right? Where if you work for a Black man or woman and you were seen by Black folks, you had to learn certain freedom to uh, to be yourself, if you will, at work and not be scared to say certain things. I think about NC Mutual, and M&F Bank, NC Mutual, once upon a time being one of the one point in time being the largest Black-owned financial institution in the country. And you can imagine working there, if you had some political views that were pro-Black, you didn't feel like you needed to hide it, right? You could be free, as you worked. And we want that for Black folks. We want Black folks to be able to be free to have enough money and assets and resources to be their full selves. And so, um, economic freedom, economic justice, economic prosperity. Those are a big part of our vision, and we do that work on a day-to-day basis. We're helping folks every day, advocating, providing access to information, access to capital, access to education, and just continue to work different ways to support our community. It's July right now. Every third Thursday we have a Connect event. So every third Thursday we have an opportunity. We meet in person at one of our member locations. Our website is gdbcc.org. Take a look there. We're also in the process of launching a bunch of events for August, which is Black Business Month. So we'll probably do about 15 to 18 events in August. So we invite you to join any of those events. Most of our events are free and open to the public. Um, if you want to join as a member, visit our website. You can look at the link there that says join now. but we're regular people. We're running great businesses, but we're regular people. So if you ever need to reach us, just send us an email, uh, and we're happy to connect and respond.
Yeah,
So
you
I'll
can
yield.
see again. You can see. Thank you, CJ. You can see the information on the bottom of the screen, gdbcc.org. But one of the things I definitely want to push on a little bit that you being a little bit modest about. He's a modest person. The activities, the events, and the initiatives that are put on within a year, within a year's time, particularly 2 months out of the year, it's every day is dedicated for the people. We serve our black people. We serve everybody, but we serve our black people in particular because of the lack of resources. It's because of the not seeing around the corners. It's because of what we thought got us here is going to get us there. It's because of who moved the cheese, and we're not going to go find new cheese. Right? Is why we do what we do and why the chamber does what it does. But the number of events, opportunities for exposure, at the end of the day, it's all about building relationships. When you remove everything, I'm talking about fancy words, documentation, money, you remove all food, remove all of those things. And nothing, everything is about building relationships, building rapport. And no one has done it as effective as I've seen it done through his devotion to CJ with the chamber. So upwards of, correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, upwards of 80 to 100 events just within the last year alone. That's in person and virtually, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah,
Opportunities
absolutely.
for exposure, right? We have Black Business Month coming up, August. We have Black History Month, which is usually February, and they only give us a month. But I mean, they only give you what you think you need, what you deserve. We take it every day of the year. But those two particular months is when we do a lot of heavy lifting and exposure for presentations and resources. That's virtual webinars, the resources that go with those, the in persons where you get a chance to just meet people. As CJ just mentioned, we have the third Thursday connects, right? And for those of us that can get out to meet people, it's a great opportunity to get out and meet people and start building some rapport and those connections. Hint, hint, free marketing, if you will, for those that don't understand what marketing is. Um, Marketing opportunities to practice your pitch, right? Because you got to have sales, right? So, um, sales is important. Sales and marketing, get your message out, right? It's also an opportunity to refine your products and services. See what data is being responsive to your pitch. If it works, you refine, get an opportunity to find out who your target market is, if it's working for your target market, or if you need to adjust in your target market. Am I making sense there, see?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I think the biggest thing is that, we're an entrepreneur's best friend, you know. Our membership fee for small businesses is only $125 for a full year. But for that $125, you have, someone and a team that's dedicated to, supporting you in your entrepreneurial growth and development. And I think that's priceless, you know what I mean? Um, you know, um, uh, just sometimes it's not always what you know, it's who you know. And with an organization like the Black Chamber of Commerce, um, you're connected with people throughout your community that can support you in many different ways, right? And you know obviously you're here. One of our board members, Kory, is a great example of that, and how your business is can also support people in their entrepreneurial journey. So, yeah, it's a privilege to do this work, And we've had a chance to support and also learn from so many of our members, and all those things that we've learned over the years. um, we offer them to all of you as pretty inexpensive advice. I tell folks all the time that some of the work that we do, people were charging thousands of dollars for it, but we're able to support folks, and it just sometimes just being a connector is very, very valuable. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing to do for sure.
You just said something that you just gave me a whole bunch of thoughts, because you know how I think, right? So there's a book called The Power Connector. Have you heard of that book?
I have not. No.
Yeah, there's a book called hold on a second. I have it. It's called Power Connector. How to be a power connector, right?
Mhm.
So it's how to turn your business network into profits through relationships, right?
Mhm.
And so it's I got hip to that book. There was this article that was done on this PR article was done on this guy a couple years ago, and all he did was internationally, right? He doesn't have a real product or service. He's the brand. So he realized through his relationship building with people, because all he liked to do was be around people and talk
Mhm.
and make suggestions. He realized that was an opportunity for him to create a business. And so we all used to this referrals and recommendations. He just made it a business. So he started connecting people. And this was the book that I think motivated or empowered him to do it. So that's why I just brought it up. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good book. I got to actually go back and read some stuff on it. I haven't read it in a couple of years, but um, yeah. So I mean, we coming to the end of the show. Um,
Yeah.
we CJ, thank you for coming on. We're gonna have you
Absolutely.
more. Everyone knows about Biz Therapy, biztherapycoaching.com, and our Biz Therapy podcast. We're actually doing a rebranding of it, and stay tuned. We're going to send out the dates for the rebrand. The rebrand is now going to be called Conversations with Core, all K's, Conversations with Core.
Nice.
Still going to be about business and everything in it. We're going to dive deep into it. We're going to actually have CJ come on and we'll schedule out some master classes for CEO clarity, and how does that work and how do we get it done. So we'll advise you guys on that as well. Again, remember, check us out on Heyward CPA.com for your schedule your consultations. We are in the third quarter, people. We're in the third quarter of the year.
That's
So
right.
you got two
That's
more
right.
quarters left. What are you doing with your third and your fourth quarter? Right?
That's
Fourth
right.
quarter gets a little slow because of the holidays, but it doesn't mean that you stop, right? So the third quarter is that time to really pound it out. It's hot outside. You can get a little aggy, get you some air, some water, and just dig into the plans and try to see what your 2026 is going to look like. We've had some
Absolutely.
changes in administration and bills and all kinds of different things. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't get stuck. Just find out what a new cheese is. Educate yourself. Get some understanding about your direction and your goals. It's okay to revise, right? As CJ said earlier, embracing failure, becoming its acquaintance. Understand what that is, because all failure is not bad failure, right? You
That's
you
right.
know it's a matter of you made the decisions at the time with the information that you had, and it didn't work. Doesn't mean you failed, right? It just means it didn't work. Now, where you fail at is if you choose not to understand it or do further research or do further outreach to those resources that can actually help put you in a better position. That's when the failure kicks in. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. right? And then you turn into a whole depression aspect. So HeywardCPA.com for consultations. You know, this is our Heyward CPA Live. Subscribe. Fast forward it to fast forward. That's some old school fast, right? Like
on the Walkman.
you know, yeah, exactly. But yeah, okay, fast forward it to those that can use any of the information on any of our episodes. Check us out on all social media, HeywardCPA.com. Go to biztherapycoaching.com. All social media at Biz Therapy Coaching. Go on there, schedule your free consultation as well. We'll evaluate where you are in your business and help you move the needle and move forward. GDBCC.org. Go on there, check us out. Check out
Yes,
the
sir.
organization. You know, listen, check out the organization. Do your homework yourself, and make some good decisions. If you have any questions, just reach out. All of our contact information is there. Right. So, CJ, again, just want to thank you for becoming coming on the show, spending your early Saturday morning. We know that you have to go back to your daddy duties. Everybody, I like to also
Indeed.
say congratulations to CJ. He has a newborn, a daughter. So this is
Right.
his third child. And I've warned him already. I've warned him. He has two boys, which is great. He can beat up on them all he wants. Those girls, they beat you up. It's a different game. The girls beat you up.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
wait for that. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
So, CJ, on that note, we can usually do peace out. If you pause, I'm just going to come off the live, but you can just hold on there for a second, okay? Peace out, everybody. We see you guys in 2 weeks. Take care.